Mrs. Clinton really foregrounded gender in a way that I think wasn't so helpful for her or for the issue. She came about it, I think, in a very second wave kind of way, which was every time she experienced sexism, she cried sexism. And in an ideal world, I suppose you could do that, but it's not an ideal world. And I think it drove me away from being inclined to vote for her, because it made me feel like she's not equipped to, push through and rise above it and keep focused on the issues facing Americans. And the contrast to that was how Obama dealt with the issue of race, which is every time he faced plenty of racism, but instead of whining about it, he used it as a teaching opportunity. Gender was an issue also on the Republican side in 2008, because McCain chose Palin as his vice presidential pick. I think that was a really smart tactic theoretically, because what they were doing was canceling out the gender advantage. And even the Republicans realized belatedly that half the voting population is female, actually more than half. And the old right-wing reflexive sexism wasn't a winning strategy. So you did see during the Bush years more appropriation of feminism, basically. I think Karen Hughes was responsible for a lot of this. And that was inevitable, a kind of conservative feminism, which is perfectly legitimate. And so Sarah Palin, there is a kind of right-wing feminism that she embodies, individualistic, autonomous, libertarian, don't need the government to prop me up, kind of earthy, working class mom figure. There are plenty of women in America who really identify with that. And to be fair to what was sensible about that pick, had she not been a lunatic, right? All the women you see on the other side, and most of the women you see in public life in the US as well as in most countries in the developing world, are elite trained, either elite born or elite trained. And so there is a void for a working class woman to rise to the top and speak on behalf of working class or lower middle class women. So that was a smart move. Sadly, to choose someone in that direction, sadly they hadn't vetted her. And so ultimately, the gender advantage turned into a disadvantage that didn't have to do with gender so much as her being a very ill-prepared, undisciplined candidate.